Hi guys, today we'll be talking about three different court cases. The first one I'm going to pull from our books, and I'll be talking about Gebsner versus Lago Vista Independent School District. So in this one, teachers have basically four different things that they can be held liable for student injuries under the following conditions. The first one being teachers inquire the students or do not protect the student from injury. Teachers do not use due care. Teachers' carelessness results in student injury, and students sustain probable injuries. So the one it doesn't talk about is should school districts be liable for teachers' sexual harassment with a student. So this is where this case happened. A girl, Alida Gebsner, she was 14, and she thought that her teacher, Frank Walrup, was making sexual advances towards her. And in the next school year, it actually happened. The police caught Frank Walrup and Alida Gebsner in the act and out in the woods behind the school. And immediately, he lost his teaching license. But not only that, they argued that the school district was responsible for his misbehavior on the child. And Title V prohibits discrimination based on sex in any school receiving federal funds. So the court states in the majority opinion that school teachers are liable only if they have knowledge. So if the school district would have known that sexual harassment and sexual activity was going on between the two students and didn't do anything about it, then they would be liable. But considering they didn't know, they weren't actually held liable for that. The next one I'm going to talk about is a court case actually in Ohio, and that's the DeRolf versus the state of Ohio. And this deals with school funding and the reform. So this Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy of School Funding actually funds 500 school districts, or is in charge of 500 school districts. And what they did is they basically, Perry County courts against the state of Ohio for failing to provide adequate funding to educate the state's students. They claim that the state failed to provide quote-unquote efficient education in an educational system for its students. So this immediately turned over in 1994 to Judge Linton Lewis Jr., and Judge Linton Lewis Jr. ruled that public education is a fundamental right in the state of Ohio, and that state legislators had to provide a better and more equitable means of financing education. Lewis' decision was actually overturned earlier Ohio Supreme Court ruling from 1979, which claimed that Ohio schools' financial system was adequate. The Ohio legislature appealed the decision to the 5th District Court of Appeals, which overturned Lewis's decision. The court ruled that Ohio's current method of funding schools violated the Ohio Constitution. The justices ordered that the state government enact a constitutional funding system. But the problem was they didn't ever give steps in how to do that. So there was no guidance at all when trying to create a constitutional public school system. And this actually is still a fight today. They want to fight so that we don't rely all on our money on taxes. So this was a very big case in Ohio and around everywhere. The last one I want to talk to you about is something actually currently going on right now, and that's in Ohio, and that's between Madison Township versus Ohio Supreme Court. So I was reading a lot about this, and I found that and in 2016, a 14-year-old stole a gun from his grandma's house, came into the school, he shot 2 students, and he hit the other 2 with the gun and injured them. The teachers then wanted to get protected, so they wanted to be able to have firearms in the classroom, or be able to carry a firearm. The county sheriff actually put up a billboard advocating teachers to be armed, and in 2018, the district voted in favor of the teachers to be armed. So the parents immediately sued. They thought that the teachers weren't didn't go through the right training. They weren't fully equipped, and this happened to be a major problem. So the appeals court sided with the parents. The court ordered them to stop the program until more teachers took proper training. And the district officials then asked the court to allow them to continue arming their staff the next year because they thought they had the proper training. The court ruled in the district's favor, so now the teachers are allowed to carry firearms until it goes back to court. So both sides will be required to file a brief outlining their positions, and it could be several months before a final decision is made. So right now, currently, teachers are armed at that school until something else is done. So I think this is very interesting, and something I can ask you is, do you think that teachers should be armed in the classroom?